All right, shout out to all my night owls rocking with me tonight. We're going to be doing an in-depth price action analysis on the SPY. This is going to give you a much better understanding on the micro price action, when to be bullish, when to buy the call options, when to be bearish, when to buy the put options. I'm going to be sharing with you the two possible case scenarios that can play out in terms of tomorrow and for this week as well. With that being said, I'm also going to be recapping the trades that I made today. I did already recap CEI, so make sure you watch the previous video before this. In terms of the trades that I made today, I had a quick SPY put option towards market open, made a quick 12%. For those of you within the live stream, you saw that trade live. It dropped so quickly, nearly 2 points in like 2 to 3 minutes. I decided to not send out that alert because it happened so quickly. So for those of you who watched the live stream in Trader's Society, you got to see that happen live. And then I had a killer trade. This was the best trade of the day. I had a CEI put option, betting on CEI stock to go down when CEI was trading at 175 to 180. In between that range, I kept adding, I kept buying put options. And when it flash crashed to about $1.40, I locked in all my profits for a 30 to 40% return in between all those sells. And then it ended up going all the way to $1.05. If I were to held those puts till then, I would have been up over 120%. I went with the 1.5 strike. We were buying these in between 20 and 30 cents. My average was 23 cents on these. At the high, they hit 45 cents. And if you were to go with the $1 out of money strike, these went from like 4 cents to 18 cents at one point. That was absolutely crazy. But yeah, we're going to be recapping that a little bit. Like I said, go back and watch the previous video as well. And we're also going to be going over the rest of the trades. So in terms of the rest of the trades, I have an open position on PROG. I bought PROG at $1.14. I'm still holding that swing trade. And then so I'm currently up 5% on that. And then I also had a small loss on Lucid. I played a Lucid put using the same strategy I used to win on CEI, using the same strategy I used to win on BBBY. And this time it didn't work out and I cut my loss very, very quickly. If I did end up holding though through a little bit more pain, it would have worked out very nicely. But with that being said, I'm going to explain to you how I was able to have another green day today and how the win streak is able to continue. And let's just get into the in-depth price action analysis first in terms of the SPY. So this is what I want you to understand, guys. In terms of the SPY and in terms of my strategies, one thing I want you to understand in terms of like daily updates, the closing price typically is always going to be a key level. So 416.25, that is going to be one of your new key levels for the SPY. So wherever SPY closes for the day, that's going to be the key level for the next day. And that's just one of the key levels, right? Some of the other key levels that I wanted to discuss, and if you watched my video, you know, when the SPY, I talked about actually playing puts in my previous video when it hit 427. I talked about that. I didn't do it though because this market is all flip-floppy and SPY had the gap to fill at 432 and things were looking micro bullish at the time. I also said around 9:45 a.m. when I exited my puts, you know, I bought puts and SPY quickly sold off like 2 points within a couple minutes and I locked in profits for like 12%. And then I said around 9:45 a.m. within the chat, you know, I think we're going to be seeing some sort of bullish move. I think SPY is going to go, you know, red to green on the day. I said that a lot of times. I decided to just stay away from it. You know, typically in anticipation of Biden's speech, the market likes to pump. That's what tends to happen. So always be aware of that. And when SPY goes from, just remember this pattern, when it's just, you know, going from green to red, shopping down, shopping down, shopping down, eventually, if it goes green and it starts to break above this resistance, turn into support, what's going to happen is the market is going to rally and it's going to take off. So you should not be holding through puts in a situation like that. But I didn't like the whole idea of puts to begin with. I just played a quick put towards market open at a key resistance level when it started to go like green to red, nice quick trade. And then from there, I was more attracted and more on a bullish thesis. And I ended up buying PROG stock at $1.14, you know, and it also doesn't follow SPY. And my full confidence play was the CEI trade. This was the full confidence play. I was alerting those contracts at 9:55 a.m. and I kept on adding. I kept on adding. I kept on averaging down. I kept on averaging down, even at 19 cents, 20 cents, averaging down. Got my average down to 23 cents. And then I ended up killing it, you know, selling those contracts from 23 cents from 30 to like 32 cents, making a 30 to, you know, 40% return. But in terms of the SPY, a new key level that we have to be aware of is 416.25. That's what I want you guys to be aware of. 416.25. So this is going to be a key level right here. I'm going to draw a trend line. This is where it ended up closing right here at 416.25. So if the SPY gaps up tomorrow, you know, we got to see how it reacts. If it gaps up tomorrow, one thing I do want to say in terms of the SPY in the daily chart right now, there's two possible case scenarios we can see. So in terms of this candlestick and the move we had today, I mean, we literally had a morning bear trap, and then we had a midday bull trap. The cool thing about that is, though, if you look at where the bear trap happened, you know, it was at key support with big upside. Look at where it bottomed down the pre-market. Very similar price action. Plus, you know, an anticipation, you know, with Biden speaking, the market typically likes to rally and likes to pump, right? So if you're buying puts at these levels, man, I just don't understand what anybody's doing if they're buying puts into 416s. I played a quick put, I believe, when it was at like 419s or 420, something like that. And that was just a quick in and out. I was bullish throughout after that. And with that being said, 427 was a key resistance level that we talked about in yesterday's video. You know, you could see this key 427 right around here, this 427. When 427 gets taken out, you can see the SPY sells off hard. It flash crashed to 411. And you can see this previous support, the previous wicks, when it reacts as a resistance, the SPY is very bearish. So looking at the daily chart and putting things into perspective right now, it looks like we just got confirmation that this 427 support is now resistance. It's been reacting as a resistance level for 2 days. When it likes to crack 427, it likes to go back to $411 to $413. That's where it likes to go back. So right now, in terms of this chart, looking at the daily, this looks very, very bearish. This is like a death hanging man candle. This is a very bearish candle that just turned this previous support into resistance. This is a very bearish wick coming in. Very, very bearish on the SPY. The one thing I will say about it is, though, it's towards the lower end of the channel. That's what I dislike about a situation in puts now, because it on the daily and the candlestick, it looks very bearish. It really does. It's just you're at such a low price point on the SPY and on the channel in terms of like this daily chart. At some point, it is most likely going to snap. So you're looking at two possible case scenarios. This either just snaps and goes to 411, and then you got to see how it reacts. If it starts bouncing off of 411, you got to play it out. You got to get it safe if you're in a put. Or you can have a case scenario where it just gaps up and then it just sits in a channel. It sits in a lower channel. That new lower channel can be from 413 to 411 can be the bottom, and the top of that channel can be, I would say, around 421. We could see some lower tops, or maybe even pushes back to 427. Overall, though, things are looking very, very bearish. I'm just not a big fan when it forms these bearish candlesticks towards lows of support. I like playing them towards highs of support. So I'm mainly just kind of on sidelines right now. But I'm leaning more towards the bearish sentiment right now. It's just the way SPY closed, the way the chart looks, the way the candlestick looks. So in terms of tomorrow, if the SPY gaps down, wait for it to rip back up. And if it doesn't rip back up, then don't play the put options. So if SPY gaps down tomorrow, wait for it to go back to the previous closing price, which is at $416.25. So if it gaps down, opens up lower than 416.25, wait for it to rip back up. If you see it starting to react as a resistance level towards there, then you're going to want to look to grab a put. If it starts breaking out and reacts to support, then it's going to be a situation where the market flip-flops and you're going to look to grab calls. In terms of the other case scenario, this I think is more unlikely to happen, but still possible. It is currently slightly gapping up, not by much. But in terms of the SPY, if it gaps up tomorrow, we're most likely going to see a pullback. I don't think I'm going to do anything with it in terms of a gap fill. I'm not really interested in buying a put, playing for a gap to fill right now. I'm just going to sit on the sidelines. And if it gaps up, my level of interest to buy a put would be 427 to 432. There's a gap to fill at 432.17. So that's the key levels. That's the key information. If it gaps up, we can look to see how it reacts at this key level. So it's mainly just practicing how the SPY reacts towards these green to red moves. Just know we're towards the lower end of the price channel. You know, if you're buying puts into these dips right here, I seriously question what you guys are doing. Like, you should not be buying puts into these dips right here. And if you are, the moment this goes green, it's like you have to get out, because I tell you, just study this pattern. When SPY goes like this whole green to red move, and then it pops back green, and then it's still red, but then it pops back green. If it keeps popping back green, I'm telling you, the SPY is gonna fucking fly. So if you're ever in a put, just always remember that. Your entry should be very, very close to this previous closing price when you're trading. And, in terms of exits, you use a very tight stop. Very tight stop. You shouldn't be exiting too far away from that previous closing price. It's a trend reversal strategy. You're looking for that quick move where it switches and then you take advantage of that momentum, right? So you see it going green to red, it's looking bearish, take advantage, ride it back down the dip, lock in profits. But with that being said, it's not as simple as that. We are currently trading at some oversold support levels. I do think within some time it's going to snap. Things are looking very bearish for the micro as well. One thing I wanted to point out is, and this is another key information and another reason why I think the SPY is going to snap. On February 24th, SPY was at $410.64. And one thing that I want to point out, and you'll see this happening with a lot of big stocks that can move the market, if you take the low of day on February 24th, when all these stocks had a massive gap down, right? They had a massive gap down and then they ripped back up. If you take the low, a lot of them already went past their low, and SPY hasn't cracked 410 yet. So that can be an indication that within some time, we could really be seeing the SPY crack that 410 level. It could take some time. Just to show you some examples, let's see here, Netflix. Look at the low on Netflix. The low on Netflix was at, $354, where all the stocks had a massive gap down. They had the morning panic, remember, with the whole invasion situation. With that being said, it cracked through it. It already cracked through it. And the market's looking micro bearish right now. And it's not just Netflix. It happened to a lot of stocks. A lot of stocks I've seen it with. You can see it hasn't happened to Tesla yet. Within time, I could see that happening. It's going to take some time though. But yeah, I'm mainly just sitting on the sidelines for now. I think there will be an opportunity for tomorrow. We got to see. You can see PayPal is another one. It started to crack it. I'm telling you, there's a lot of them. I think Shopify was another one. Yeah, Shopify is one that really cracked through. You can see February 24th, the lows at 585. This cracked through it very, very hard. I think Facebook was another one as well. So yeah, Facebook was another one as well. It cracked through it, similar to PayPal move. So just keep that in mind. A lot of these stocks blew through their February 24th lows and SPY hasn't. So within time, that's another possibility where that can happen. In terms of stocks, really not, I got some price alerts set. In terms of PROG, I think we're going to see some further upside. Let's see. In after hours, it's not doing too much. So we'll see how that reacts. And then it's mainly just going to be, looking at the SPY tomorrow. In terms of stocks, I'm not too quite interested in, stocks for the moment. It's mainly going to be trading the SPY and the options on that. KO is becoming very interesting. This one can drift away from the SPY, I noticed. This one can trade and drift away from the SPY. That's something I've noticed. But I am still holding my March 18th put options on these. I'm currently up a little bit over 20% on these put options that I've been holding out. Initially I was down, but I stayed in. Now I'm up 20%. I think they'll do well. They expire March 18th. Ideally, I would need and want more time, especially with such big move. This can easily pop. But Coca-Cola is getting very interesting. I'm looking to do a micro trade on this potentially. It's been trading in this price channel. We're going to call it from $58.60 to $63. It just keeps on going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. In some point, this is just going to fucking snap. This is just going to snap this 58.60. And when that happens, the puts are really going to print. You have a gap to fill at 56.30. I could see this heading to 56.30 by the end of the March. It's just in order for it to do that, it has to take out 58.60 and turn it into resistance. You see all the bottom wicks, right? You see all the bottom bullish wicks. It has to crack those and turn into a resistance level. I will say the way this is looking, it looks like at some point it's going to take some time, but at some point Coca-Cola is just going to snap out of this channel, break it, and then fill this gap at 56.30. That's what I think we're going to be setting up for within some time. For the micro, and this is something I wanted to point out, we could see a spike. If this holds up, we see some bullish green candlesticks in, I'm going to be looking to get some micro call options on that, because there is a gap to fill on Coca-Cola at $63. And this stock always rips for new all-time highs. At some point, it's going to fill that gap, So it's just identifying and waiting for the right bullish confirmations, the right timing, the right lower end of the price channels to ride that gap up. So I'm telling you, Coca-Cola is going to be a top watch. We are at some key critical levels for a very nice micro trade. If it looks bullish around here, it's going to be calls. If it cracks that, it's going to be puts. Going to be very interesting setup and a very big day for Coca-Cola. So keep that on your top watch. And this is something that nobody's talking about. This is something that nobody's bringing awareness to. I'm telling you, when Coca-Cola has a crazy move like this from 63 to 58.60, it's just, in terms of this massive red day it had today, like literally a 4% drop, this is going to be insane for tomorrow. So in terms of stocks, Coca-Cola is going to be my top watch. It's going to be crazy to trade the options on these. And then with that being said, in terms of my trades today, I had a killer trade on CEI using the same strategy I used on triple BY. Go back and watch the previous video. It goes over the trade recap. It goes over the strategy. But just to go over some of the basics, CEI had a massive run up. You can see right here, it had a nice gap close reversal at 58 cents. It filled this gap, formed the green bullish candlestick, and then it gapped up the next day. So it had a very nice gap close reversal to then shoot back up and fill this gap at $1.81. Once I saw that $1.81 react as a resistance level, I began to buy the put options. Once it popped back to 180s and reacted as a resistance level, I began to add to my put options. And those absolutely printed. Like I said, the contracts, I've seen, like, within Trader Society, the results that some people, especially the people who've been really consistent, my guy is absolutely crushing it, man. I'm telling you, every single week, almost every single day, I see him posting, his trades, posting $1,000 here, $2,000 here, $500 here, 10, 20, 30% here. Like, the returns he's getting is absolutely insane. Made 1,200 there, and on a swing trade, he's absolutely crushing, man. Big shout out to him. He played CEI and QQQ, ended up making $7,000 on the day. Discord's been bugging out. There's been an outage, but you could see, like, the returns are crazy. CEI, Lighthouse, you guys have seen him. He's so consistent. Big shout out to him. 140% profit return on CEI. I'm telling you, I got members trading much better than me. Like, lately, like, my entries have been phenomenal. The timing has been phenomenal. Just got to work a little bit more on maximizing wins. You guys saw how it was these past couple of weeks. If you were to try to maximize wins, you would have got burnt very, very badly. In terms of these past 2 days, though, there's definitely been big win opportunities where if you try to maximize, it would have worked out. But it's not an exact science, and you got to lock in profits at key levels, especially with these options. And you'll see, like, once your account starts getting bigger, you tend to, some people tend to take profits a little bit quicker than they normally would, because there's levels to this. And when you get to a certain level, it's like the income can really fluctuate quickly. If you're compounding your account, the results can be exponential, especially if you're trading options, and you're trading wisely and smart, not going all in. You can see, like, without taking big position sizes, you can see your portfolio go up 3, 4, 5%. You can see it on a consistent basis. It's definitely possible. Like I said, my account nearly tripled within the past, month. And I haven't been taking, like, crazy position sizes. I've been more on the medium size, and I've been more on the selling a little bit too early. But the win rate and the timing and the entries have been so phenomenal. But you can see T-Day, 162% profit return on the CEI puts. And he went with a 150 strike. My gosh, like, if you went with a dollar strike, probably would have been a 300% gain. That is insane, man. That's absolutely insane. That's like, wow. I'm just so glad you guys crushed it, man. But yeah, the results, the testimonials, same guy, great day, played GTE. I saw him play the GTE short. He asked me about it. I thought it was good. It went from 190 to 180, learning a lot from Trader Society. And he says right here, learning from here and starting to make my own trades and becoming a better trader. That's what it's about, making your own trades, making your own moves. My trading has improved so much within the last few weeks, learning a lot within Trader Society. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help assist you to become, a better trader, to become self-sufficient. But yeah, big shout out to all the members within the profit. Paul, shout out again. Nice consistency. But yeah, you guys have been actually killing it. Drums, thanks for all the education. It's my second day, and I've almost paid off your one-time fee to join Trader Society within the first 2 days. 2 for 2 on your call outs since I've joined. Thanks a million again, and look forward to trading more with y'all. Take care and God bless. So yeah, big shout out to all you guys. Wow, 128% return on the SPY calls. Lighthouse, here we go again, man. This guy hits big percentage returns. Tesla call options, 91%. GGGG back at it again, making a $3,000 profit on SPY calls and a $3,000 profit on SPY put, adjusting to the flip flop. Nicely done. And look at that. He's only down $150 on one of his positions that's currently down. That's what it's all about, winning big, losing small. But yeah, that's phenomenal. Oh my gosh, Lighthouse again. Jeez, man. And Logan recently joined the program. Nicely done. The account is up 15%, $2,300. I will say though, in terms of options trading, this is another thing. I want to make this very, very clear. If you're not getting, like, I would say a 75% plus or 100% plus return on the option contracts, and your portfolio is going up like 10% plus on the day, 15% plus on the day, that does mean that you're sizing in too bigly. You're sizing in a little bit too big. Now, if you're seeing like 100% plus returns and your portfolio is going up like 10%, 15%, then you're probably more towards the lower middle end. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. You want to let the percentage returns do the work for you, not the capital. You should really, like I'm telling you, you can do very well and very consistent, make like, and compound the account, make like a 1, 2, 3% return on your account when you're trading. And we're not trading every single day. It's just lately we've been trading every single day because the market's been on fire and the setups have been, unreal ever since this whole invasion happened. But with that being said, like, another thing to keep in mind is, so that's one thing I wanted to bring awareness to. But yeah, you can make like, not taking big position sizes, you can make like a nice 2-3% return on your account for the day. I've been consistently doing it. It is definitely possible if you trade the best setups at the best prices. So don't let the size do the work for you unless you're getting in and out, but you have to get in and out, but never size in like big on an option contract. Find a good balance of letting the percentage, but lean more towards the percentage return on the contract doing the work for you rather than your size. If you're putting in some size on these contracts, you have to get the perfect entry, you have to time it perfectly, and you have to get out. You can't be aiming for these big wins. You can leave some on to ride like 20, 30% for a big win. That's completely fine. But if you leave that full thing on to ride, in most situations, you're either going to win big or win big or lose big in most situations. You never want to be in a situation where you lose big. That's why I always try my best to time it perfectly. I always try my best to get the best entries, and I always try my best to get, if I'm super confident, I'll take a somewhat decent position size, but nothing too crazy where it's going to highly affect my account. And then I'll set a stop at around like 15, 20%. And then I'll try my best to maximize the win, but locking in profits at those key levels, right? Just flipping the contracts, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to hold these all day. And I'm typically trading just from market open. But yeah, that's going to be my analysis. That's going to be, the trade recaps within the day. Like I said, for the day, PROG, I'm currently up 5%. CEI was killer. We were calling out short puts when this was at 175 to 180. I ended up making 30 to 40%. Some students made over 150%. And then I had a nice SPY put at towards market open for a quick 12% win. And then I had one small loss. Lucid didn't end up. So if I were to hold, it did end up working out if I were to hold. I bought some Lucid put options right around here when it was at 24.70. The reason why I bought put options on Lucid is because it was the gap close reversal strategy. Lucid was towards the higher end of the channel. There was a gap to fill right here at $24. And where was it? I believe it was like $24.99. So this was the same exact strategy I used on CEI, same strategy I used on BBBY. Obviously, those two stocks were much more overbought and much more towards key resistance than Lucid. But still, it was towards a key resistance level, and you could see there was a gap to fill right here at $24.99. So once I noticed that Lucid stock rejected this $24.99 and started pulling back, on the way back up, I started to grab some puts in the 24.70s. Then it started to turn 24.80 into support. Then as it started to rise back up to $25 and started breaking out right here at like 25.10, I got out of my position, because I'm well aware if Lucid goes above $25, the next level it's going to spike to is going to be $25.75, which is more than the most I'm willing to risk. You know, I got out, I think it was like a quick 15, 18% loss. If I were to hold through that spike, I would have been down about 35 to 40%. And say it didn't top out at that spike. Say it kept on going and it had a gap breakout. If it goes above this, it's going to ramp up to fill that gap. But SPY ended up flip-flopping at 427, which helped cause Lucid to crash. And it was one of those situations where it flip-flopped. But at the end of the day, I have a max level of risk. And for me, it's not worth it to hold through this big upside move because it can still go higher, even though there's a lot of resistance at 2570s. Plus, it outweighs my risk. I'm not looking to risk more, right? So it has a lot to do with timing and getting perfect entries. At the end of the day, my strategy told me 24.99 is the best entry. And I wasn't watching Lucid when it was at 24.99. If I were watching it here and going with the strategy here, it would have went from 24.99 to 24.30. Within those 10, 15 minutes, those put options, you could have made a quick 30% return. So with that being said, if I would have just stuck with the strategy, you know, I had a lot going on too. I was in with CEI. I was looking at PROG. I was checking on SPY. I had a lot going on with the CEI trade. But yeah, with that being said, that's why I cut the loss quickly on Lucid. But the strategy did work and it did end up working out in terms of the macro point of view, but it outweighed my level of risk, so I had to cut it. But in terms of the day, I'm 3 for 4. One of those wins is still open though, and that's on PROG. And if you do want to be a part of Trader Society, guys, I'm telling you the results that I've been getting, the results that I've been seeing some members getting have been absolutely insane. And the potential is here. If you are looking to become self-sufficient, if you are looking to become an independent trader, if you want to learn to trade the best setups at the best prices, if you want to get lifetime access at a one-time fee to Trader Society, it's going to be the first link down below in the description. If you want to check out the live trading stream that we did today for members only, if you want to see the recording of the live stream, that's going to be the second link in the description. So in terms of Trader Society, you will get lifetime access, and it is a one-time fee. It's not recurring. It's not annual. It's not monthly. It's a one-time fee. And you get lifetime access to the chat room, and you get access to one-on-one direct messaging with me and members within the chat room. You also get access to the daily live trading streams at Market Open. You get access to the watch list and the stock analysis. And during these live streams, you can ask me questions live on spot, whether you're in a trade, whether you want me to review a stock, whether you have a question about trading, you can ask me anything within the live trading stream live on spot. With that being said, there's a lot more to it. If you want to check it out, it's going to be the first link below in the description. As soon as you join, you get instant access and you get lifetime access. And you can start trading with us as soon as tomorrow morning, live at Market Open. So I will see you guys till then. And that's going to wrap up today's video lesson. Thank you so much for investing in your time into your education, and I will see you within the next lesson.